Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is Travis here at Set Apart Homestead, and I have some possibly, hopefully, inspirational words today out of the good book, and wanted to talk to you about them and hopefully can uplift you or kind of help you through the week. And I have a question that I want to pose to everyone. What God do you serve? What gods do you serve? I know many of you are going to say, oh, well, I only serve the one true. Yeah, my Father in heaven. But do we? Now, I'm not questioning anyone's personal faith and relationship, but I do want to point out that we have to be guarded in our lives. And trust me, as much as I'm saying this to you out there watching, I'm saying it to myself also. We have to be guarded very, very carefully every day to not allow things to creep up in our lives that basically come between us and the Father. I want to read to you in Deuteronomy Chapter 11, starting at verse 26. And this is actually the Torah portion for this week. And it says, "Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I commanded you this day, and a curse if you do not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn aside out of the way which I commanded you this day, to go after other gods which ye have not known." Most people, when they think of gods, they think of some pagan, ancient creature, molded into some gold or brass or stone, a statue that people in the past would worship. And many people today would say, well, of course I don't do that. I don't do that. I only serve the Father in heaven, and I pray, and I read the Bible every day, and I really try to live my life sold out to Him. And that's true for a lot of people, and that's good. But there are other things that aren't these idols that can come between us and Him in our relationship. And that's the thing that we have to be guarded of. What are those things? Man, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be a statue of some creature or of a man or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It can be your TV. It can be your phone. It can be your home. It can be your farm. It can be all sorts of things that can come between you and your relationship with the Father. And what we need to learn is to have ourselves a really, set priority so that we know where our priorities stand and where He is in those priorities as the top, okay? He's the one that we are supposed to cast our cares on Him. He is the one that we are supposed to worship and to give our life and our just everything to. That is our goal in life. That's how we are supposed to live. Is knowing that He is the one in control, and He is the one that we owe everything to. And it says in here that if we follow His commands, then we will be blessed. And if we turn against His commands and we serve other gods, then we will be cursed. How do you know? How does the Father in heaven know that we love Him? By following His commands, by doing the things that He has laid out in this book to do. The first 5 books of the Bible, it's called the Torah, and it is all laid out in there, pretty plain and simple, of how we are supposed to live our life. It's like a blueprint, a plan for our lives. And He lists His commands. He lists His teachings in those 5 books. And so many times we throw that away and cast it away. It's like, well, that's kind of old school. There's a new covenant now. There's this new way that it's all just about love. As long as we love him, he loves us, we're good to go, right? Except that's not what it says in here. It says that we are supposed to follow his commands, and that is how we show that we love him. And if we show that we love him by following his commands, then he in turn will bless us. This is something that we should do and know at all times. But I believe now more than ever that this is going to come true. For you see, ever since this book came into being, ever since people started following the Father in heaven, people have been persecuted for it. All throughout history, all over the world. Still happens today. But the world is changing. And I have a feeling, I'm no prophet, I have no insight that anyone else doesn't have, but it's mostly a gut feeling that the things that has happened to his followers in the past will pale in comparison to what is about to happen in the near future. I believe we are seeing the end of times play out in front of us. And if that is to be true, then the difficulty it will be for you and I to hold true to our faith, to keep all the other gods away from us, and to work towards following his commands, showing that we love him so that we can be blessed, that's going to become more difficult. I believe with my whole heart that that's going to become difficult. And so now as we prepare, which is obviously a theme of this channel almost every day, we have to prepare our heart and soul like never before. Whatever you do on a daily basis to prepare your heart and soul, you need to be upping the game. Just like I tell people throughout the week, if you're putting so much aside every month in storage, food storage, you need to increase that now more than ever, because things are getting rough out there. Where hard times are upon us. And in the same way that you prepare your food storage and your farm and your family and your animals, you need to prepare your heart, because the times that are ahead of us, they are going to try our souls for certain. And you can read, it's kind of interesting. This book is a really interesting book. If you don't have one, you need to get one. In the back of this book, it basically has the end of the story. So you can read ahead and you know how the story ends. And the story ends where we do prevail, we do win this war, but it says that we have to go through a lot of hard times before we get to that final victory. And so that's why we prepare ourselves. We prepare our hearts and strengthen and embolden our faith, because times are going to get a lot worse, I feel. And to avoid being cursed, to avoid that curse, we need to make sure that we know that we are following his commands and that we're not allowing any other gods to come between us and him. And so evaluate yourself, evaluate your life throughout the day. Think of it all the time. And it's something that I try to think of, that I try to remember, and I fail. We all do. But what is going on in my life that is taking too much of my time and attention away from him? Am I putting so much effort and so much energy that I'm neglecting my time with the Father? Am I putting more faith in this thing or this person or this system than I am in him? Am I relying more on these other things than I am in him? These are some of the ways that something can become a god to you. That it is something that you have faith in, something that you're depending on, something that you give a lot of your time and energy to, can become between you and the Father. And so throughout your day and throughout your week, be cautious of that, because like I have said, now more than ever, We need to be prayed up and have that full armor of God on us at all times, because the handwriting, I think, is on the wall. The times are changing, and I don't think that they're going to be favorable for us for a while. In the end, we know how that ends, but there's going to be a time that it's going to be rough. And so right now we need to be preparing more than ever. And so get into this book, read it daily, get on your knees and pray. Pray for yourself, pray for your family, for those around you, for the leaders of your community and of your government, to make the right decisions, and to do the things that would be favorable to the Father in heaven. And we know many times that they don't. So that is why we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared first in our hearts, because that's all that matters in the end, is where our heart is and who lives in us. So remember this week that to follow his commands. It's simple. You do that, you're blessed. You don't do that, you're cursed. It's pretty simple. It's kind of like you tell your kids, you follow my rules, you obey me, or you get punished. If you don't obey me, this is what you get. You get punishment. If you obey me, you get to do extra things. You get to play outside or do whatever your reward is. And if you don't, well, then you get punished. It's kind of the same way. It's pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. So remember that and pass that on to your family also. Pray for them and keep your children and your family close to you in these times that we are going through, because the family unit is under attack more than ever. And we need to be praying for our children and raising them up in the way that they should go, so that they don't depart from it. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.